dishwasher air gap, what happens is it usually looks like this and it sits there on the kitchen sink. I know that they didn't have one because of the fact that wasn't sitting there. This is actually just the cover, but I wanted to give you a look at what it's supposed to look like when it's installed. They don't have one installed. Some people say, they've asked, well, I don't have a hole for it. Well, there's actually 3 holes under here. You could change the faucet and add a pull down sprayer and eliminate the sprayer and use a sprayer hole, or a hole could be drilled. Now, in this case, people have also asked me, can it be installed underneath the sink? The answer is yes and no. In some states, it's legal to put them underneath the sink. Some states, you cannot put it underneath the sink. Now, if you put it underneath the sink, the only way you know if it's failing you, and sometimes they do fail, is by the wet foot alarm, where you're standing there doing dishes, all of a sudden your feet get wet because it's coming out of the cabinet. Now, a dishwasher air gap, the way it is installed is this line here is coming from the dishwasher. So it's usually provided by the factory, and then it would tie on the bottom of the dishwasher air gap. The water would come through here and then come back down and then go into your drainage system. This is actually the strainer underneath the sink, and this is the receptor of the sink itself, and it ties in there. And that's how it would discharge. They also have the opportunity, garbage disposals have a little nipple on the side, and with a knockout in there, you can knock it out and dump it into a garbage disposal as well. Okay, so let's move forward. This would supposedly be mounted there. The reason for a dishwasher air gap is if we look at this device here, bacteria can grow, but it can't jump. So the state is brought in where the water gets shot up, and it gets, this is rounded at the top, so the water flows with the curvature of the top of the device, and it's dumped into a little hole. So technically the water is flowing something like that with a gap in between. Now with that gap in between, as we talked about, bacteria can't jump, but it can grow. So when the bacteria from the waste piping, from the receptor, the strainer, on this portion, the bacteria can grow up, and technically, if you didn't have a dishwasher air gap, could grow bacteria back down into the dishwasher. And then you'll be eating on dirty dishes. Dishes that you assume are clean but have bacteria on them, and people could get sick. This is why states have implemented having this as a state code that these are required. So anyways, that's why we would do it. This here is very easily installed. It gets, a hole is either drilled, or we talked in the past about changing the sink faucet and having a pull down sprayer, eliminating this type of faucet with a side sprayer, and you could use that hole as well. So this gets then forced in from below through the countertop. This gets put on top, screw it down, and the cap is somewhat of a decoration. It looks like this, so it looks decent. Usually you get the matching finish of the faucet. So in this case, it's chrome. We went with a chrome dishwasher air gap. And many other times, if you have brushed nickel, black, stainless, then you can get different colors, and usually you can get those at your local hardware store. So that's it for this section of Ask the Expert, and Semper Fi, and we want to be your plumber for life.
Plumbing, heating, cooling, that's what we do. And don't forget refrigeration too. Building waters, shed a teardrop of joy.